Mr. Jose Shorty Torres, how are you doing today, my friends?
What's up, man? I'm alive. I'm in the middle of Alabama. I have no clue what place I'm at. Like, all the way up in Gerald, someplace. Like, no one knows where this place is. Anytime we actually drive to the city, which is about an hour away, a gas station is like 30 minutes away. So, civilization is almost non-existent to where I'm at right now. But it's a good time. It's different, but I'm excited to get the hell out of here. That's for sure.
You're kind of in an undisclosed location, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I was here helping my manager get ready for a fight, and his camp was called Breaking Lex. And man, we definitely broke him, that's for sure. But he left on Wednesday, yesterday, so we're just making sure that this place is being taken care of, getting things together, getting ready to go tomorrow night. And man, it's crazy. It reminds me of like the Big Bear training camp where it's up in the mountains for boxers. No one else is there. It's just men. It's literally focused nothing on but training. But dude, it's 2,000 acres here. I don't know what an acre is,
Really?
but 2,000, bro, it's a lot.
It's a big
And
number.
I go one way and it's like 2.5 miles, and then I go back, it's another 2.5 miles. So
Mm.
it's a journey, that's for sure.
Yeah, how long have you actually been down in Alabama?
About a week, about seven
Okay.
days, wasn't too long. But he was here for about 2.5 weeks, and man, it's crazy. Like I don't know if I could do it for that long.
So you gotta talk to me. You had this fight not too long ago. Obviously did not end the way anyone expected, but it was an awesome fight. 5-round war. So talk to me a little bit about that. Have you been able to rewatch the fight over again?
I have been able to rewatch the fight, and it's aggravating because even during the fight, it's just Sean Santella has a really, really good jiu-jitsu style. He's like, damn, I just forgot his name, but the guy who did an omoplata in one of the UFC fights and was able to get the guy in a heel hook. It's one of those things that when you're so good at one thing, it doesn't matter what people do. You're gonna hit it no matter what, even if they know it's coming. And for me, I knew he was gonna pull guard. I knew he was gonna do stuff, but his game was a little. Well, let me phrase that. A lot better than I expected at that. Expertise was able to get out of submissions and positions. Yeah, which hey, I'm very happy about. I'm a high level jiu-jitsu guy myself, but not to his experience. And for me, it was I started way too slow, and even though I knew what he was gonna do, I never really woke up until halfway through the second round, and I'm like, oh damn, he's on my back. I gotta get out and do my thing, and then it's already too late. In third round, I have to really explode to get that 10-8 round. Which hey, I'm happy I came back from adversity. This is honestly best case scenario because we do have to fight again towards the end of the year. So yay, another paycheck. But it's my resume, especially at the flyweight, I've been finishing every guy. So by the time it got to Amir Albazi, a guy I dropped 3 times in the first round, I didn't finish him, and then I faced Shorty Rock. I was like, man, I'm gonna knock this guy out, and I just never woke up until that third round. So it is a little aggravating, but I'm happy with overall that honestly I didn't get them. I didn't lose, so hey, I'll
Hmm.
take that. And I'm excited to fight him again, and we're both gonna be that much more prepared.
Okay, look, so you have to explain this feeling to me. You're in the center of the octagon, both you, you're having your heads down, waiting for that final decision, and then at the end they announce the scores. Both of your hands are raised. What's that feeling inside the heart and the body? Like, can you explain or compare that to something else in life?
For me, I feel that for both of us, the feeling was different. For him, because he was in dominant positions, not hurting me per se, but in dominant positions and winning those rounds. The first 2 rounds were definitely his. So it's for him, it's like, come on, don't be a draw. Like I know I won. Don't be a draw. I know I won. And then for me, it's the opposite. It's like, man, did they score that last round at 10-8? Please, let me have done
Hmm.
enough to get that 10-8 because I wasn't able to get the finish. And so for us having that draw, he might have a different feeling, but I know we both agreed that it sucks. It's just one of those things that we want to win. We want that extra pay. We want to be able to say we are in the next round of this flyweight tournament. But honestly, I think for both of us, it was the best case scenario. He was going through stuff with his mother and her illness. She has cancer or had cancer, should I say? So congrats to her. And if my father, my father passed away last year, which I believe he did pass away from cancer. So, we both had a lot of mental trauma coming into this fight. So even though we both didn't get to win, I think it was a big sense of relief off our shoulders. You know, it's like, hey, we can't still do this. We can't push through, especially through all the mental trauma we've been going through. And that's why both of us have been talking a lot about mental health. And, you know, it is what it is, but we're definitely excited to fight again. And we've been talking almost every other day about it. But, you know, because I am friends with Sean Santella, but business is business, and we're going to get it done.
Yeah, so it was the battle of the Shorty Rocks, or the Shorty Rock and the Shorty, which I found was a perfect headline for that event. But we will get to the mental health. But talk to me, when is this thing going to be rebooked? I know you said the end. I don't know if you said possibly the end of the year or early next year. When is that looking like?
You know, it depends on the countries and COVID. You know, and honestly, it really depends on COVID. COVID's one of those things that, you know, again, I was supposed to fight in March. Oh, Brazil shut down. Oh, I'm supposed to fight in August. This country shut down. It's not opening up yet. So, or a resurgence of COVID. So, you know, we're hoping November, late November, December, but it depends on the country. You know, I wish it was in the U.S. Sadly, I don't believe Braves are going to come to the U.S. for a while. They're going to try to establish themselves everywhere else first. But until then, man, I'm just enjoying whatever journey's in front of me, and I'm already, you know, pretty much in camp. I might be fat and happy right now, but which earlier today, I don't know if you saw, I put a throwback Thursday of my fight 3 weeks ago. It's like post weigh, and I'm all ripped and like cut and flexing. I'm like, yeah, and then I was like, I could do like a now photo. I was like, nah, you know, I'm good. You know, so yeah, I'm fat and happy right now, enjoying myself, and I'm excited to get back down and do some work. It's you know, this time I'm hoping that my coach Dean Thomas can be there with me because I do have a high jiu-jitsu guy in Shorty Rock. You know, Dean's a great guy, and if he's there, I really do believe it's going to be a way different fight.
So talking about fat and happy, you might be maybe like 3 or 4 pounds above weight, but we won't talk about that.
Just
But
maybe 3. Just give it,
yeah,
maybe
maybe.
5.
All right. So yeah, talk to me. What is Shorty G's grandma's cooking like? What is that cooking like? I know it's the 5-star cooking I've heard, but talk to me. What's her best dish?
Oh man, you know it's crazy. So my mom was pretty much the cook for my trip back home, and you know my grandma finally got out of nursing home, so she's not the big chef anymore, which sucks.
Oh
But
man.
you know it's all, I'm happy that she's out of nursing home and back home. It's a crazy time right now with COVID. It felt like visiting someone in prison. Honestly, visiting people in the elderly home was ridiculous. But no man, my mom loves me to death. My brother and I always mess around. I'm like, I'm 100% the favorite child. I'm sorry. So when I get home, she's like, oh, I'm making you enchiladas. And me, I like chicken enchiladas, verde, green. And man, she just makes it with like a bowl of Mexican chicken soup. You know, so it's like I got green chicken enchiladas next to me, and then I have a bowl of chicken soup next to me. It's just home cooking. It was one of my favorite meals growing up. My mom made it maybe like once every 2 months. So when she made it, it's like, you know, so it's always a special occasion, you know. So it's either my
Mhm.
birthday or I just finished a fight or my brother's crying because he's not the favorite child. So she's like, oh, fine, I'll make it go. So, no, man, she rocked my world with food. It's one of those things where she's like, man, you really, like, almost everyone in my family, friends, my small circle that I've created, everyone's like, man, you really have like weight issues. Like you really need to stop eating. But I made you some enchiladas, and I'm gonna order pizza later today. What do you want? I'm like, dude, you guys are all like horrible, but you're amazing at the same time. You know, so good.
Yeah, so that's too funny. You gotta enjoy yourself, I guess, once in a while. That's
Dude,
gotta be the best part.
you know, it's crazy. So my manager Lex McMahon is a heavyweight. He's gonna make
Mm.
his debut at heavyweight. I'm thinking I'm leaving home, you know, out of 10 days of just gorging food. Dude, I gained like 30 pounds. I get heavy as hell. Like I'm probably 160 right now, you know. So and I have no shame in it. Like after a while, you're just like, all right, this is how I am. I accept it now. I'm
Mhm.
not really, you know. So I'm like, cool. Tomorrow I'm heading over to Lex's camp. I'm gonna start dieting there. We're in the middle of nowhere, so I can't go to the gas station or buy food or snacks, whatever, because I'm a gas station baby. And out of nowhere, I get here, dude. The first thing I walk in, I see 3 gigantic cakes, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And they're like, you know, we're all heavyweights here, right? Like, no one's cutting weight. I'm like, oh yeah, damn, I'm screwed. And they had grocery runs every day, and everyone's like, "What do you want?" Some guys like, "I want some honey buns," and you know, Lex was like, Shorty, you have weight cutting problems, but I bought you a box of Reese Puff cereal, and I'm just like,
That's the best kind.
dude, it's amazing. But the
Yeah.
thing is, so I have two problems. One is if it's in front of me, I'll eat it. So I'm not gonna
Mhm.
go out of my way to buy crap. Like if I bought healthy food, I'm gonna find a way to make it delicious so I can eat it and cut weight or lose weight, manage it better. But I also have the problem if the food is in front of me. Like for example, Reese Puffs, a box of Reese Puffs. Could I technically portion it and have it go throughout the week? Yes, that would be easily the smartest and best thing to do. But I also have that other side where the devil comes up and it's like, and it's just like, dude, if you eat this right now, all of it right now, will it be bad? Yeah. But that's one bad day. Then the rest of the days is awesome. Then it's not
Yeah.
fair. So literally, he's like, I bought you a box of Reese Puffs. I was like, well, I gotta eat it right now. So it took me like 10 minutes, and I ate the whole box of Reese Puff cereal. And then everyone's like, oh, let me get a bowl. I was like, it's gone. You guys
Sorry,
messed
no
up.
mas.
Yeah, no
No
mas.
mas.
That's it. No mas. I can't even say like I'm no mas Chenko. It's just like no mas food. That's it. That's fair.
No mas shorty.
Yeah, no mas shorty.
All right, so that is a very mental thing, but you're high on mental health. So talk to me. Why? I know it's a very important subject, but why are you so high on that subject? I guess have you gone through something that has been a mental warfare for you?
Yeah, man. Obviously people know with my father's passing, but I think I won't even call it extreme depression, but I would say I had depression, some type of sadness, and I definitely had anxiety because of it. But my biggest thing was being released from the UFC and how I was treated. I think about anything. It's like I worked my butt off to get all the way to the top. Like I started at 4 years old training to eventually make a promotion, which is our NFL, our MLB, our professional league. And I create history. I do stuff Conor McGregor did 3 times faster, and the smaller promotions, and I'm doing my thing. And then I get to the UFC, and honestly, it was just an unfair share of circumstances where the flyweight division was already dying. I was at the time the last person to be signed. They didn't really care if they signed me or not. I had 10-minute last calls. And I never said no to any opponent. I said yes to practically everything. The only ones I said no for were like I literally broke my hand. They're like, "You want to fight next week?" I was like, "I can't fight for 3 months. I'm not cleared until October." They're like, "Okay, all right,
Mhm.
hear us out. How about you fight in 2 weeks?" It's like I'm not cleared for 3 months. They're like, "Okay, how about that day when you're cleared? Can you fight?" I'm like, "That's when I can hit the bag." Like, what are you talking about? You being a dummy? Like, come on, this is common sense. So, I got really treated unfairly, and obviously I lost, so be it. But even in that fight, I didn't want to fight. I got forced to fight. Even California told me I wasn't allowed to fight because I was red flagged because of my weight, because I just did 26 pounds in 9 days. Now, literally, I think it was like 30 days later, 10 days after, they called me to fight Alex Perez, and they're like, "You got to fight him in 20 days." I'm like, "Dude, I'm 28 pounds over. I just did this extreme weight cut for you, and you told me I wasn't going to fight until the end of the year." They're like, "Yeah, well, you either take this fight, you don't fight until next year. Next year doesn't mean January." And I'm like, "Dude, I gotta get paid, and you're literally paying me the Ultimate Fighter contract. I'm not making any money. Like, I barely made more money than I did when I was in Titan, and you guys are supposed to be this premier promotion." And so I got treated like crap. And when they cut me, I was like, wait, I got cut because I made a YouTube video of saying I think the UFC is going to probably cut the flyweight division. Like, I made an accusation. I really thought that they were going to do it.
Mhm.
Sadly, I ended up being right. But you have Kobe Covington, and this is not like bashing any of the fighters, but it's like you have Kobe Covington who can talk to Dana White and call him, explicit this, explicit that, and say all these names and be perfectly fine. You have fighters that talk smack about everything, get dark, and they're perfectly fine. But I say, man, I think the UFC might start cutting the flyweight division because of these reasons. I get cut, and it's like, dude, I mean, no offense. I'm not saying like you know who I am, but it's like, have you seen my resume? Like, yeah, I had one bad performance, so be it. But you never really gave me a fair, full chance. So I had the depression with that. Then leading up, I traveled so much. I eventually lost a relationship. I was engaged. I had, you start losing a social life because that's all I did was travel and train, which is amazing to some, but I'm a social butterfly. All my friends go to the gym, which is great, but I want to get out. I want to venture. I want to see the world, but I want to do it with people. And sadly, I never had that. And then, my dad growing up was always like, anytime I brought a girl over, he's like, "So you're gonna have a baby? You're gonna have a baby? You're gonna give me a grandchild? Give me a grandchild." My brother's 8 years older, so his first son, I was 14, so I was kind of like pushed to have a kid. So mentally, I'm like, I gotta have a kid. I gotta have a kid. So, my dad was like, man, you got to have a kid by the age of 25. I'm 28 now. And then now my dad's gone. And it's like, man, if I have a kid, like, he's never technically going to meet him in person. So, and then eventually, my dad passes. And that was like the pinnacle of everything. So by the time that happened, man, I was like, man, I really got to focus on myself. I'm not saying that therapy was dumb. I can tell you this. I was, recommended to go to therapy. And I did that. That was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done, but that obviously could have just been the therapist. Like literally right when I walked in, I was like, man, I'm going through a lot of anxiety, depression. These are the reasons why. And he's like, yeah, you are going through a lot of anxiety, depression. You want some drugs? And it's like, oh, no, man, I want mental health. Like, this is why I'm here. I'm paying to be here for mental health. I'm not paying to get drugs. I can probably just go smoke weed and have the same effect. And that's why there's all this opioid pandemic and all that stuff. But yeah, I never believed in medication like that. But yeah, I started reading books. I started to create a social life after my father passed. I started to reconnect to my family. But I found different ways to grieve, and sadly, man, all those stages of grieving were crap. I was spending a lot of money. I was buying stuff I didn't need to buy. I was taking care of people that probably didn't need to be taken care of. I was doing a lot of things I shouldn't have done, but in that process, I learned a lot about myself. And then thinking I was mentally prepared, I got ready to fight in March, and then COVID hit. And I keep on saying, man, COVID affected more people mentally than it did physically. Like, yeah, obviously people are dying. I've had friends who died. I've had friends' parents who passed away, which, all rest in peace. I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm sorry that's all happened. And I hope, obviously, things get better. But, man, COVID's affected so many people mentally because of losing jobs, lost opportunities, lost money, lost this, lost that, lost people. It's just such a crazy, crazy time. So for me, it's like I was so alone at American Top Team, literally in my dorm. And by the time Dean decided to leave ATT and kind of do his own thing, I left with him. I went to stay with Dean, and it's pretty much literally Dean, Jillian Robertson, and myself. And honestly, that's probably been the best move I've ever made in my MMA career. That's been the best positive atmosphere because I have a social life. I get to talk to people. I get to hang out with people I really enjoy and care about. And I'm emotionally stable with everyone. And I know with either of them, if I need someone to talk to, there's someone to talk to, So it really is a cool thing. And I have somebody, especially with Dean's, like I have somebody who actually cares about my MMA career instead of going like, all right, cool, I'll train you, but I need money. It's like, no, or I'm only going to train you because you were in the UFC or this or that. Like I've had literally coaches be like, oh, you're in the UFC, or you're going to be in the UFC, come here. And then once I got cut, they're like, all right, deuces. It's like, dude, I thought you cared about me. So it's a crazy thing. This game is, there's a lot of sacrifice in this game. But man, I read a lot of books, audio books. I did a lot of time with myself in a sense. And I got to see the things that were important, my family, my friends, my social life, and how to manage that in this crazy, unpredictable MMA career. We look at the fight, even though I didn't have the best performance, if you want to say, dude, I haven't made weight over a year and a half, and I made weight a day before we even had weigh-ins. That whole day, everyone was cutting weight. I was just chilling in bed, like, I'm not weighing. Like, I got to drink water and chill. I was like a pound and a half under, and I got to eat and drink, So, it's a crazy thing, man. Did I still lose relationships? Did I still lose friends? Yeah, it sucks. But, people come and go, and that's a learning process. And I've learned that especially with my father, and even talking to a bunch of other fighters about just losing people in their family that are really close to them and how they handle it. And I think that's been the best experience, is a bunch of people giving me kind of their, I guess, big brother advice, of how they've gone through stuff. And it's dope to see. It's dope to hear. It sucks to hear that they went through it as well, but it's nice to know that I'm not alone. And that's something I'm preaching to a lot of people, is whether they're veterans, whether they're military veterans or MMA veterans or just people in general. Like, we all go through stuff, man. But you have to know that you're not the only one out there that's going through it. You can't be, oh, they don't understand me. Trust me, there's going to be somebody who understands you. You just have to have the patience to find that and hopefully be open enough to hear them out. And that's what I've been doing, man. It's been helping me out extremely, extremely well.
I find it awesome because you're like at the top, I guess, and there's your followers and everyone who are allowed to look up to you, and they find you as a figure on especially social media and everything, which allows people so much to find people who have had the past problems, I guess, that you've gone through, and they feel like, okay, well, if this guy overdid this, then I can do it myself as well.
You know, it's a crazy thing. Like I started my YouTube series. I gotta get back to it. It's called Inside 240, where I try to be a big brother when it comes to the sport, when it comes to mental health. Yeah, I'm not a therapist. Yeah, I'm not a professional in that type of field. But it's just giving my real experiences. And honestly, a lot of people look at me and they go, "Dude, you got a blue check mark. You're verified." It's like all I gotta show is my license, and you get a blue check mark. Like honestly, you do the same thing on Tinder. Like that's how easy it is to get the blue check mark. I know people who have like one follower and have a blue check mark. Why? Because they actually went through the certification process to get verified. That's all it is. You know, it doesn't mean I'm big and famous. Like, yeah, I might be a little more popular than others, but doesn't mean I don't go through the same problems. And I think one of the guys I really admire that goes through a lot is Logic. You know, Logic is a well-known, respected rapper nowadays, and even in his past albums, this current album, he has a song called Dark Place. Like it's real honestly, it's real dark. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, man, social media, there's always haters, there's always people against you, there's always whatever. And it's crazy how what's that song, Biggie and P. Diddy, where it's like more money, more problems. That 100% is true. So anytime I got money, I've had people, creditors try to scam me. Hell, I've been scammed. I've given so much money away to so many people. It's ridiculous. That was pointless, and it's literally because they want my money. And I can say now through a lot of self-searching, and I'm still going through a lot of self-searching. I'm never gonna stop. Is I can finally say I'm happy and I'm not faking a smile, which is really, really dope.
So you got to give me your thoughts on your former opponent. You mentioned before, Alex Perez. He's fighting for the UFC title. Are you happy for him that he's doing that? Are you kind of like, oh, maybe I could have been in that position if the UFC allowed me to do that? What are your thoughts on all that?
I definitely know I could have been in that position if the UFC allowed me to it, if they actually gave me a full training camp and a possibility to fight actually 100% instead of, 10, 20% or 30%. Again, when I fought Alex Perez, I wasn't mentally there, but man, he put out a great game plan. And honestly, even if I was at 100%, that same thing possibly could have happened. So, right now we won't know until, maybe we fight again, whether it's for the UFC, for Brave, or a different promotion. But regardless, man, I can't be a hater. I'm really happy for him. I have nothing against Alex Perez. It was 100% against the UFC. Alex is just an opponent. It doesn't matter who I would have fought against that day. I probably would have lost. But, man, for him against Figueiredo, that is a tough fight. Like, I really would, again, it's and he understands this too as a wrestler. When you lose in a tournament, you don't want to lose to the guy who's going to lose his next match. You want to lose to the champ. Like you want to lose to the guy who's going to place. Yeah, is he going to be now technically a title contender, and will he possibly take second place? True. That's always a possibility. And realistically, I'm still happy to say, like, I lost Alex Perez compared to losing to somebody else that's not in the UFC anymore. So for him to be able to fight for the title, and for me to say that, like, dude, I lost to this guy. Like, you see the work he's been doing, the stuff he did to Formiga. I never even thought he was going to do that to Formiga. I was like, whoa, like, this guy's game is improving that much. So, I hope everything goes well for his fight. I hope he performs at 100%. And I hope he can fucking, put on a show. Excuse my language. I'm hoping he can put on a show against Figueiredo. But, man, Figueiredo's tough. But Alex Perez is really shown off to the world against myself, against Formiga, against so many people that even though he might have a different style, he comes in with a completely opposite style in the fight. Again, against me, he wanted to take me down, and out of nowhere, he knocked me out. Against Formiga, we thought he was going to play jiu-jitsu, and out of nowhere, he's ended him with calf kicks. So it's one of those things that he changes up his game, and I think he's learned a lot after his last loss against Joseph Benavidez. And I don't want people to look at it as, oh, he lost to Joseph Benavidez, and Benavidez got, knocked out twice by Figueiredo. Man, paper, scissors, rock. It just kind of goes in that circle. So you never know. I'm 100% rooting for Alex Perez. I hope the best for him, and I hope I get to fight him one day again at 100% as well with a full training camp. But it is what it is, man. And, that's a fight I'm super, super excited for. And it's showing that the flyweights can really be exciting. Oh, my God, who would have thought?
All right, so I think we're all good. I just want to say thank you for joining me today. We went through some issues, but we overcame it. We overcame the adversity. It was a pleasure speaking with you on behalf of MMA Island. We wish you the best of luck in your future, and we are signing off.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I like that shirt, by the way.
For the island, you like it?
I do.
All right, you take care, my friend.
Hey, please let me know if you need anything. I'm sorry, obviously, for all the conveniences.
No, we're all good.
Dude, this place sucks. But yeah, tag me there, let me know, and I appreciate the time, man. Thank you.